Hello, I'm Dr. Jester and welcome to Hell. I'm going to talk about something that we all have been there as a gamer, possibly even watching movies, TV shows, etc. It's called the sunken costs of entertainment. Here is a good example of an image that I found on Reddit. Are you having fun for $60? I must. And that is called the sunken costs of gaming. A good example is me. I got a new processor and received 6 months of Ubisoft Plus. I decided, okay, fine, let's go and, have it a go and see how bad the games are or something. I played Ghost Recon Wildlands. That one was actually okay. Not bad, not great, spectacular, but actually not that bad. It had life. It was nice. Just a little bit too many mountains, but it was nice. It had life. It wasn't dead. Breakpoint was a dead world. The ending was not an ending. You actually had to purchase DLCs for you to be able to see the rest of the game. And I said, a fat chance, Ubisoft, not doing that. Uninstall the game. And it was painful to go through Breakpoint. Badlands, not so much. It was okay. Wasn't having a great time. You could see it was a little bit slow, etc. But Breakpoint, right? Jesus Christ. But little did I know once I jumped to Far Cry 6 that I was going to suffer. Jesus, that game was painful to play. But before I tell you the details of how painful, and I'm possibly going to use some spoilers, so be aware if you still care for that game. But before I continue, here's a message from my sponsor. I'm back, baby! Yeah, right. Far Cry 6. That one was, again, continuing. It was horrible. I'm going to give you some peeks on this story. You meet, I think, 4 or 5 groups. Or I think it's 4, in which you have to do missions in its region, and then once that is done, you join up and then go and attack the capital of Yara. Every single one of them, except the first one at the beginning, was led by a male. The last one had a mix of a old woman, a black guy, and yeah, that's about it. Then there was a side character in there as a leader, but then the black guy of the last group died, and the male of the first group also died. So eventually, which was already led mostly by women, now was led only by women. One of the other males was technically not quite a male. You find that out, especially how virtuous and amazing that male is during the missions, especially one in which he's a doctor. He asks you to protect him while he attends to some downed rebel. I just didn't care who it was. And so he kept on saying how this male was so strong that he managed to have the top surgery. Top surgery? Without anesthetics. Jesus. Then there were moments in the story in which they were telling, oh my god, the Yara is suffering. It's because of the blockade by America. Ooh, there's a mosquito in my room. I'm gonna have to, deal with it later. We all know that Cuba was only blockaded by America, but it could trade with every single country in the world if it so wanted. It's the same thing here. Yara is it's a name they used, but for Cuba. So the person who wrote this was just a generic college nobody who once read something on the internet and thought that the entire misery of Cuba was the fault of the US. And then you have only female leads. In the end, you actually had to storm the capital. The game was already miserable, painful, to say the least. But once you reach the capital is just a tunnel. Yes, it's not even open world like the rest of the game. No, it's just a tunnel. I opened up a cheat to actually make sure of that, because in the map you can see that there's corridors, one colored and in their areas surrounded by areas of red. And I thought, wait, why is it red? Can I go there? I tried in game to get and see if I could get in there, passing through some gate or something. No, it was completely sealed off. And I thought, okay, that's weird. Maybe in the end. So in the end, we stormed on the capital. I thought, okay, finally, I'll get to explore the red sections of the city. Turns out you couldn't either. For some reason, those walls stood, even in the middle of a combat. So the game ended and I thought, wait, why can't I go there? So I got some cheats and I went there and I managed to teleport myself into those red sections. And guess what? There's nothing there. It's just a background scenery just in case you happen to look over that region. That's about it. A dead world, but in those red sections in the capital, even deader. So, this is by far, the worst Far Cry game I ever played. But why did I continue playing it? Sunken costs. Why? Because I played Far Cry 1 when it was owned by Crytek. Then Far Cry 2, which was a masterpiece. Far Cry 3, some decrease here and there, but still good. Far Cry 4, yeah, a little bit worse than Far Cry 3, but still good. Far Cry 5, slightly more worse than Far Cry 4, but still okay. But Far Cry 6, holy Jesus, mother of God and Holy Mary, slap me, Sealy, and surely call me Shirley. Holy, it was bad. Now I'm playing, I know, 1800. There are a few things in that makes you go, huh. Most of the ships, I think almost all of the ships have female voices. Then, I didn't know that most of the captains in the ships back in the 1800s were women. Well, that's new information for me. And here I thought it was mostly done by males, or exclusively by males. With the exception of a pirate here and there that was female, and that was about it. But hey, details, it's your Ubisoft. I don't know. I don't even know if Ubisoft even made bank or even managed to pay the development costs of Far Cry 6, but if Assassin's Creed Shadows is anything similar to Far Cry 6, boy, that game is going to be sucky. And no, I'm not playing that crap, even though I got an actual serial number for it for free because of the processor. So, you, after watching this, have you done the same thing for a game or some piece of entertainment? I was nearly doing this for Supergirl back in the day. I don't even remember which season I stopped, but it was as soon as they introduced the female president. I think it's around in 2016, so I don't even know which season it was, but it was because they expected Hillary to win, but eventually got Trump, so they suddenly switched the personality of the president into be evil. Yeah. And apparently only women were powerful, kind of like Far Cry 6. Because women. Yeah. I just gave up on Supergirl, but in Far Cry 6, I just had to finish this hell. I wonder if there will be Far Cry 7. Honestly, I do not. But anyway, write down in the comments below if you have suffered the sunken costs of gaming or media or whatever. So, on that, hell, have a cheery bye.